Welcome back to Control the Freak, where we talk about all things coercive control. Whether you're a controlling person who wants help to understand why you do the things you do and you want to know how to stop it, or you live with or know somebody else who lives with a controlling person and you want help to either navigate that behaviour or know when and how to extract yourself from it, hopefully you're going to find all the answers here. My name's Sean Johnson and I'm going to walk you through all of the above. At the end of the last episode, I spoke about two things I said that we'd touch on in this episode here. I said personal responsibility, and I said words and combinations of words and how we're going to handle that from the point of view of a controlling person. When I talk about personal responsibility, I'm aiming this advice mainly at control freaks, but also at the people that live with them. And I'm saying to the control freak, it doesn't matter what somebody says to you, you are responsible for how you react to it. I gave the example, didn't I, of I could say the worst thing you can imagine to 10 different people and I would get a different reaction. This person might want to hit me, this person might ignore me, this person might argue with me, and so on and so on. But there's no such thing as a universal reaction. What control freaks do is think that there's only one reaction and it's their reaction and that reaction is correct. I'm saying to them that's not the case. And if you want to stop what you're doing, you've got to think about the possibilities where reactions are concerned. And then I'm saying to the people that live with controlling people, if you can take some responsibility for your reactions to the things that those people say, you can start to get some power back. It's not about fighting control with control, because you don't want to end up like the guy in the first episode who came back again in the second episode, the chaotic control freak who starts to see control all around them. You don't want to get into that mindset. This is just about not being controlled. And if you can identify when somebody's trying to do that using the demand disproportionate benefit escalation model, you can take back some power. Now I spoke about words, and I said that control freaks use words and combinations of words to get certain reactions out of you. And we're going to look at that more today. I'm going to give you some flag phrases to work through. I did a straw poll, remember I said in the first episode or the second episode, where I asked people to give me one word answer what control is. And then I extended it to controlling people, got different answers again. Well, very recently I did another one on coercive control. And I asked people to give me in one word or as briefly as possible what comes to mind when they hear the phrase coercive control. Without fail, there was a pause before I got an answer on this one, much more than with control. And then I eventually got things like herding behaviour, pushing people in a certain direction. I got surreptitiously persuading, manipulation. I got that a lot, obviously. I got nasty, and then I got I know it when I see it. Come back to that one. I extended the question again and I said, is that all we've got? Is that all we can think of with coercive control? And then the pauses were longer, without fail. There was chin scratching and looking off into the distance. And then I got things like evil, psychopath, stalking, violent. And everybody around these people, if there was anyone left there, all kind of nodded along and said, yeah, no, that as well. That's definitely coercive control. And that kind of harks back to the I know it when I see it. What this tells us is that we all know what coercive control is, but it's not immediately obvious. It's confusing. And that's why coercive control works. It's hard for people who have people they love that are being coercively controlled to understand why this person is allowing it to happen. And it's precisely because of that, because it's confusing. They're being hit from all angles, and quite often they don't know how they've got where they are. And in some cases, don't even know they've got where they are. They think this is perfectly normal because they've been manipulated over times through their reactions to the things that coercive people say. So we're going to look at some phrases today, some flag phrases that I've come up with. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list, but you're going to hear similar things in your relationships and in the relationships of people you know. And these will be a good indicator of the kind of thing to look for. Now, this isn't reductive. This isn't saying this is all it is, but these are really good key phrases to look out for early on that should send flags up the pole for you. We're going to use the demand disproportionate benefit and escalation model because it works in all control, really, but it also works pretty well in this one as well. So let's go into the demand stage. Now, the thing with this is it kind of already is obviously a demand, but there's a bit of a question mark, and we can stop these things in their tracks early on if we can recognise these phrases and stop them from becoming demands. Let's go with the first one. If you get with somebody and too early on in the relationship, you start hearing phrases like, I've been hurt before, or times when their walls went up. This is a flag phrase. What this person's doing is telling you and showing you they've got some baggage, and they're expecting you to carry it for them. They're offering you a handle. You help me carry that. It's already saying to you, I'm going to expect some things out of you. I'm going to expect you not to hurt me, and I'm going to expect you to manage my walls. The thing to do with these people, if you hear these phrases unsolicited too early on, is to remind them that you're not the person that hurt them, and that they're responsible for how they manage this relationship. Nicely but firmly, they're responsible, and you're not going to carry their baggage for them. Look out also for people that say too early on they want to be put in their place, or they like jealousy. Somebody that's asking you to put them in their place is displaying a chaotic personality. They're saying they can't manage their own behaviour and they want you to manage it for them. I'd question somebody that wants me to manage their behaviour straight away. On the flip side of that, of course, be careful who you're asking to put you in your place. An early partner of mine did it. I don't think she used the words put me in my place, but it was words to that effect. And she didn't know what she was doing. I was already a controlling person. Now, I'm not saying I heard those words and I went, right, that's what I'm going to do. But I was already well practiced. It was deeply embedded in me to try and control people. And she was giving me permission. It's easy to think of controlling people as sitting there twiddling their moustache and stroking a cat and looking for ways they control people. And yes, we are looking for ways we can control people, but it's instinctive. It's not something we're planning to do. World's smallest violin, but I'll explain in another episode that this is all instinctive. It's all about learned behaviours to reactions. Jealousy as well is similar to put me in my place. Somebody that tells you that they like jealousy. They think that jealousy is an important part of a relationship. You have it with a lot of younger people where they think that love is supposed to be complicated. Complicated romance is the way it's supposed to be. I understand it with younger people. Watch out for it if it comes with people of a certain age. But we're all emotionally mature, aren't we, while we're learning, while we're getting into relationships. But somebody telling you that they like jealousy is telling you how they're going to behave. They're going to be chaotic, and they're going to be looking for things because they like jealousy. They're going to be looking for times that they can kick off. Again, at this point, a reminder about objectivity would be a good idea. Similar to it's the men I don't trust. I've heard this phrase so many times from so many different men. I've even said it. Every man that says it thinks they're the first person to come up with this, by the way. They think it's genius. They think it's really clever because it absolves them of any responsibility. And what they're saying to you is, we're all right as long as we don't let these people in. We're the only ones that can be trusted in this relationship. It's a lie. If you trust your missus or your fella, then what does it matter what the other person's doing? If you trust them to know when to say no or to spot warning signs, it doesn't matter what the other man's doing or the other woman's doing. What they're telling you is they've got trust issues. They're just not being honest about what those trust issues are. It's the men I don't trust is a lie, pure and simple. These are the same people, by the way, that put too much emphasis on trust and respect. They try to tell you very early on that trust and respect are really important to them. That's their identity. I take trust very seriously. They're telling you they don't. They're telling you they won't trust you. They're telling you you're going to have to earn their trust. There's an early demand there, isn't there? They're carrying baggage they're expecting you to carry for them and with them. Watch out also for people that want to help too much, that don't give you a choice in that help. Let's say things like, no, you sit there, I'm going to do this for you. If it's a man, they say, no, this is a man's job, I'm going to do this. You sit there, I'll take care of everything. Now, that can be flattering. A lot of women quite like that idea. Some men quite like that idea as well. But it's taking a choice away from you. It's a subtle demand that they're in charge. What you should do at this point is take some personal responsibility and perhaps insist a couple of times that, no, I'll do that myself. Thank you, but I'll do it myself. The reaction you get to this will tell you whether or not it's a demand or a request, by the way. So keep your eye out for that one. Then finally, watch out for things like, I can't believe they said that. If you go to your new partner and you tell them about problems you're having outside of your relationship with friends or family, not workmates, because that's a bit different, because you're forced together with workmates, but friends and family, if you go to them and you say, I'm having a problem with these people, this person saying this person saying that, and they're too keen to jump in and start slagging that person off and saying, yeah, there's definitely a problem, that's a flag phrase, the I can't believe they said that. A supportive partner at this stage will put their arm around you, they'll listen to you, they may give you some advice, but it'll be advice about how to handle it, how not to feel too bad about it. What they won't do is jump in and say, no, you're absolutely right, those people are horrible. They won't reinforce things that will end up separating you from those people, because what they're doing is trying to isolate you very early on. So be careful about that one. All the way through this first stage, you've got to be objective, and you've got to fight the urge to be controlling in response to control. All you're doing is taking responsibility. But if you handle these flag phrases as soon as possible, you've got a chance at a healthy relationship later on. If not, they're going to come around again. And this time, where they started like that, they're going to take a 90-degree angle. The words are going to stay the same all the way through the demand, disproportionate benefit and escalation stage, by the way. Words might change a little bit, but the meanings behind the words will change completely. So let's go into the disproportionate benefit stage. We'll go through those phrases again. You might start to see some moodiness. You might start to see some walls going up and stories about when they've been hurt before in comparison to things you're doing. They might say, well, you're acting just like that person. I've been hurt before, I'm not going through this again. You need to be objective about how true that is. And if it's not true, you need to remind them of their responsibility for their walls going up, and how true it is that they're being hurt again, and how much they're just hurting themselves. Same thing with put me in my place and I like jealousy. The people that want to be put in their place at this stage, if they don't think there's enough drama and they want to kick off, they might start doing things to get you to put them in their place. This is a warning sign at this point. They're escalating that chaos, aren't they? They're escalating how much they want you to manage their behaviour. You shouldn't be managing anybody else's behaviour, particularly if you're a control freak. But nobody should be managing anybody else's behaviour. It's for somebody else to manage. It's for them to manage. So at this point, again, a strong reminder that they're responsible for their own behaviour and the way that they react to things. On the flip side to that, those people that have been asked to put people in their place, well, they'll start putting people in their place. It'll be a little bit firmer now. And you gave them permission, didn't you? For a control freak, that is permission. And it will get a little bit firmer each time. It's the men I don't trust takes that 90-degree angle. It's no longer just the men they don't trust, because now the suggestion is that you've got a part to play in it. Yeah, it's the men they don't trust, but how much are you contributing to the problem will be the question. They've already said, well, I don't trust the men, but you're still going out where all those men are. You're still going out with that girl who likes to get with men. So, you're not helping, are you? And this makes me feel bad. This makes my walls go up. Again, a reminder of personal responsibility and objectivity. If they trust you, you should be able to go out with your friends because you've got the power and the ability to say no or to recognise warning signs. Be quite firm with this one at this point because you're running out of time. This over-focus on respect and fairness ties into it's the men I don't trust. they'll start to say you're not respecting them because you're still doing this thing, you're still going out with these people. And again, it's that demand, and it's becoming more of a demand now, that you show them some respect, because they can't manage their own emotions. And they've got a very strict line about respect is. They told you that at the beginning, that this is how you show me respect. So now you're straying from those lines. They're starting to focus on, hang on, I put these lines in place early on, and now she's not doing it. Let me help becomes for your own good. You gave them permission early on, and you're starting to lose a bit more autonomy now. They're starting to not give you a choice in the help that you get, even more so, and it's for your own good. You can't make this decision. I know what's best for you, so I'm going to do this. It's not an instruction, it's not an order at this point, but it's getting firmer. Watch out and start taking some responsibility yourself. Start taking even more responsibility for the choices you make and the things that you do, and stop letting them do everything. Do some stuff yourself. And then finally, I can't believe they said that. This starts to get a little bit more intense, because now they're going to start approaching it from a couple of different angles. First of all, they're going to reinforce the idea that these people are poisonous and you probably shouldn't spend any time with them. But also there's going to start to be a suggestion that because you won't deal with it, you're affecting your relationship with them. And this might be true. Again, we've got to be objective about it. But they're going to start using it to encourage that isolation, that you won't deal with this person, now it's making me feel like this. You've got to get a handle on this, and you've got to say, this is my relationship with them, I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't impact us, but you've got to let me live my own life where these people are concerned, because I've known them for years. If it's my family or friends, take some personal responsibility. You're in a danger zone at this point. You can still pull it back, you can still have objective conversations potentially, and you could turn it around. If you can't, we're going to move to the escalation stage. At this stage, the first few, the my walls went up, I've been hurt before, the trust and respect, all kind of blend into one. Because if you haven't worked it out already, these were all about one thing. These were all about the lack of self-esteem and the baggage that person was carrying. And now they're passing that baggage to you. Now it's completely your responsibility because you let it get this far and you didn't challenge them early on. That's not victim blaming, that's just telling you where this is going to go if you don't deal with it early on. Put me in my place, that's come around again, but now you will be put in your place and you won't like it because you gave permission early on. It's now taken absolutely literally. They're now the boss of you completely. On the flip side of that, the people that wanted to be put in their place, who showed that chaotic personality earlier on, are just like that other guy that was on the lookout for shit he wasn't going to take. Now, if you try to apply some fairness and some logic and some objectivity, they're now going to kick off. And as far as they're concerned, you're a control freak. Everything you do is about controlling them, even though they said at the start they wanted to be put in their place. Same with jealousy. Now the jealousy is a real problem. They encouraged it early on, but now the jealousy is all pervading and you can't do anything without a fight. It's the men I don't trust goes out the window now. It's no longer it's the men I don't trust, it's you. I told you what the problem was. And not only did you keep doing it, you must like it. You're now inviting it. Actually, I think you're a slag, or I think that you're a man whore, or whatever. It's all going to be about you. And personal responsibility from them for the way they're reacting, by the way, is absolved. They've handed that all over to you, and it's for you to put right. And you'll never be able to put it right. It's already gone too far, because now there's already a pattern of distrust. Those people that talk about trust and respect, now they're going to use their distrust of you to treat you with a lack of respect, and you're going to be a prisoner, basically. Let me help now becomes instruction. Now it's you will do this because you're incapable of making decisions, because you don't show me any respect and I don't trust you. So I'm going to decide what you're going to do. Give me your keys. Let me see your phone. Let me see who you're liking, what you're liking on Facebook. All autonomy is now taken away from you, because earlier on you absolved all responsibility to those people. You gave them the permission to do what they want to do because they were the best person to make the choice, and they never ever were. And then finally, I can't believe they said that, comes the complete 180, and now it's maybe you were the problem. Because actually, you've fallen out with all these people, and now you're treating me like this, with a lack of respect. You made my walls go up. So actually, it was always you. So I'm going to make sure you can't do it anymore. You're going to stay indoors. Again, I'm going to take your keys, and you're not going to go anywhere, and you're not going to talk to anybody. You can see where this is going, can't you? And I probably don't need to go any further. If you want to look up how bad this can go, look at the case of, I think it's Shana Grice and Holly Gazzard, two tragic stories of two young girls in the UK whose partners followed this pattern, who started off very romantic and ended up with the loss of these poor girls' lives. And there's hundreds of these stories. It's happened to boys as well. I watched a documentary last night on a young lad in Croydon who was stabbed by his girlfriend. So it does go both ways. The point is, you can see how bad this is going to get. I'm trying to not let it get that far. I can't give you expert advice on how to extract yourself once it's gone that far. There's plenty of experts out there that can tell you what to do. And the thing is, usually they say, get some help, make sure you've got an exit, make sure somebody knows, make sure you've got proof. And all I would add to that, if this shows you anything, is do it quickly, because it will only escalate. In the next episode, we're going to take things a little bit lighter, and we're going to talk about good control. And yeah, I know that's the irony of a control freak telling you there's such a thing as good control, but there is, trust me. We need good control to function as a polite society. Without it, it's people like the guy in the first episode, these people in these stories, and people like me, who get to run amok and get to do what we want without punishment. So we need good control. And there is such a thing. In the meantime, drop some likes, please like and subscribe, add something in the comments, reply to this email here, and I think there's going to be a Twitter here somewhere. I've got a Twitter. I don't do my own social media. Control freaks shouldn't have social media, and I'll go into that in another episode. Pretty dangerous thing to have. That said, I'll leave you with the usual. Control the freak, not other people. And I'll catch you next time, hopefully. Behave.